Kalalalu Hawadla Yahweh Basham Yahushai Basham Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Peace and salutations to the brothers on the four corners of this earth, pushing this word in truth and in sincerity, risking their lives more now so than ever to do so. Brother Manatazak here with another impromptu short video from the Newsweek Online magazine. Now, a brother posted this in group chat and I say I would do this because we know America going into war. You know what I mean? The main concern is wars right now, and wars cost money. Yet the citizens, however, are being left undone. You know what I mean? Just to show you the savagery of Esau and how he pushing towards the agenda regardless of the what is called it, collateral damage being its citizens, right? The citizens of America. Right, so it says number of Americans living paycheck to paycheck surges. You know, you have just enough to get by and nothing more. Yeah, so they might even have less. It says more Americans say they are struggling to make ends meet as affordability becomes an increasingly central concern across the U.S. in the run-up to holiday season. According to a recent survey by payroll processing firm ADP, 64% of American workers polled report living paycheck to paycheck, up to 46% who said the same in 2023 study conducted alongside Visa. A separate study from Bank of America released last week estimated that the share of lower income households living paycheck to paycheck defined as their necessity spending exceeding 95% of household income. Look at that. In necessity, so your bills, your lights, gas, heat, whatever bills you had, you need food. You know what I mean? Your rent, all these things. It's in 94% of household. It's exceeding the 95% of household income. Had inched up to 29% from 28.6% in 2024 to 27% in 2023 and 27% in 2023. Why it matters. Amid the rising cost of home ownership, childcare and utilities, and with resurgent inflation sparing few goods, more and more Americans report facing significant financial strains in 2025, with a months-long slowdown in hiring and layoffs beginning to grip the economy. Many are expressing fears over their personal situation and pessimism about the economy as a whole. Yeah, so the scene for this, the place is being tanked. You know what I mean? All right, what to know? Bank of America Institute economist Joe Wadford pointed to inflation as fueling the trend in 2025, telling CBS News that cost increases will put in renewed pressure on lower-income households. In particular, in the report, the research team also cited a relative slowdown in lower-end wage gains compared to the higher-income groups. In a recent post, Apollo chief economist Thorsten Slock highlighted data from the Atlanta Federal Reserve showing that the wage growth had slowed sharply for those in the lowest earning quartile compared to the higher income categories. This year, evidence, he said, of an increasingly K-shaped U.S. economy. The term has been employed frequently in recent weeks to capture the divergent success of poorer and wealthier Americans, as data underscores the struggles facing the country's less affluent, while higher income continue to benefit from stock market gains and asset appreciation. We see strong investment and consumption growth driven by the stock market, driven by AI investment and all that. Brown economics professor Sebnem Mills, whatever the name is, recently told Newsweek. But at the same time, we see labor market weakening. We see poor households living month to month on their paychecks. The issue has raised concerns that consumer spending, which accounts for a significant portion of U.S. economic activity, could be hit as increasingly cost-conscious shoppers cut back on purchases, especially going into holiday season, a make or break period for retailers of all stripes. Yeah, restaurants, electronic places, all these places. Right? Low income consumers are heading into the holidays under real financial strain. Melissa Bridgeford, consumer behavior expert and CEO of AI driven commerce platform Wizard, told Newsweek inflation has continued to hit everyday essentials and even toy prices up. After this year's tariffs, families already stretched by the higher cost of living will now have to spend more for the same gifts. However, she added that higher income shoppers are expected to spend steadily through the holiday season, given the top 10% of earners account for over half of total spending. Bridgeford said this group will likely be able to keep the holiday market afloat in 2025. So what we see in here is basically they're saying the poor people getting poorer and the rich getting richer. You know what I mean? And even the others was talking about how they want to wipe out the middle class. So we're seeing that the middle class is being reduced significantly. Alright, so they will only be poor and rich. And this is also where what the UBI come in with the digital society. Alright. These Ecclesiastes 12 and also that tree. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of grinding is low, which is work, and he shall rise up the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So yeah, so what these two verses talking about is what the economists, people who study the economy, and feel like what they're saying in the article we just read, right? They are in fear because they see how the poor becoming poorer because the people in power paying tariffs on other countries, which will cause the prices to surge when they reach, the US of A. You know that they pay more taxes on raw materials to make whatever it is the consumer demands. So now the price had to go up. So now the poorer man, as it's in the article, they we barely making essential purchases. Right? It barely happening, you know. And all this just to say they basically erasing the middle class. So they'll be rich and poor. You know what I mean? This could incite civil war, this could incite the UBIs, all these things, and especially where AI is concerned, you know that AI taking a portion of the working class as well. You know what I mean? They go send home, you know what I mean, the biologicals and bring in the AI. Biologicals being human beings. And bring in what AI that can run 24/7, don't take breaks, don't need lunch, don't need nothing. You understand that could just run the business. And it's the people who in the higher upper echelon of people, the higher paid ones, the ones who make that money, who dealing with AI investments and stocks and so on. They will be the driving force of purchasing this holiday season. So that goes to so the rich go remain rich and the poor will get poorer as the rich get richer, as they say. You know. And there are going to be bills passed concerning this as well. That's wheat fed. Alright, as it says in Revelation 12 and 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. And that is why they pursue all their agendas regardless of the collateral damage. You know, all the money they spend to fund wars and arm themselves for wars. You know what I mean? They could push back in the economy, but they rather get the people a pep talk, hey, we need to do this, curb that drug thing from Venezuela coming in the country and killing thousands of hundreds of thousands of people, this, that, and the other. When that money could be used to positively affect the economy. But that also plays into the other side of the agenda where EMOTB, digital society, all these things are concerned. We need to have the people in disparity, for lack of a better word. All right, we need to make them reliant on us. You know what I mean? When I say us, I mean not us as in the Israelites. Speaking from a standpoint of the Edomites, we need to make them rely on the government. That's probably what they're saying, so that the government could have them in the palm of the hand to do whatever they want. All right? Because they are 30 and 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be ashamed, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion here. You're trusting in the system, trusting in the government. I'll be ashamed. Look, the people look down here on the island who they put in power. Basically, a senile old woman. Alright? The whole government was the whole military Slovakia was mobilizing. She come on national TV to say she know nothing about it. Alright? I shamefaced. That is shamefaced. I shamefulness. You know what I mean? She should feel ashamed about that. Even with the Minister of Homeland Security talking about nothing about no worship in we waters and I shamefulness. Oh, you could say that. So you don't know what's going on in the waters of your country. Yeah, I mean, you're not really secure in the country. You're just collecting a paycheck at the expense of the citizens, the hardworking citizens in the country. All right? And even if whether you know or not, it will affect you. It will affect your everyday living. You know? It will affect it negatively to add. The second is just 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread, because of the lack of bread and great tribulations. And for great tribulation, and this is it. This is what the not the end all be all, but this is going to be the reality of the situation very soon. With the economy failing, you know what I mean, people are going to go buck wild, right? Breaking in stores, looting, you know what I mean, robberies, home invasions, all these things are going to escalate in the time that we come into, you know? So I hope this video was edifying. I hope it's back food for thought, the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem and Shai Bashim Kakadash. Until next time, Shalom.